What's going on, y'all? Chris Stevens here for HBCU Sports, and it has been a very busy Tuesday in the Delaware State University athletic department. Head football coach Lee Ho was fired today after 2 seasons. His record over the lifespan of his tenure at Delaware State was 2-21 and 0-10 in MEAC games. Not very helpful in towards keeping your job. And also, the university announced that athletic director Alicia Shields Gadsden was stepping down to pursue other opportunities. She will be replaced by Tony Tucker, who is a local legend here in Delaware. He was one of the greatest high school basketball players in the 1980s. He played collegiately at Rhode Island and at the University of Delaware. He's been a associate vice president for athletics for about a year or two. So he'll just be adding athletic director to his his business cards now. He'll oversee the new national search for a head coach. And I've been given the okay by my bosses, of course, Ken Rashad and Kendrick Marshall. Shout out to those two gents, to just level with you guys about the state of Delaware State University athletics. What I see as a reporter, and as you can see on the screen, I'm a Delaware State alum, graduated from there in 2007. My journalism career started there, so I have nothing but love for Delaware State. But at the same time, this whole century, well, not century, we'll say the last 15 years have been nothing short of disastrous. And the whole experiment was destined to fail because everybody hated the hire. And this is no disrespect to Coach Hall. He's a good person. I mean, I've talked to Coach Hall quite a bit, doing interviews and different things of that nature, but he was stepping into a no-win situation because Alicia Shields Gadsden wanted to hire her guy. And Rod Milstead, I don't know how Rod Milstead is not your guy. I mean, Rod Milstead, his resume speaks for itself. He played in the NFL. He was a 3-time All-MEAC offensive lineman at Delaware State. He won a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers. And the most important part was he had that team closer to a winning record than they had been in a decade. Remember, Delaware State has not had a plus 500 record since 2012. That was when Barack Obama was running against Mitt Romney for his second term as president of the United States. So that was a long time ago, people. But Milstead had them in 5. I never forget. They were 4-2 to start 2022, and a COVID bug went through the team, and that just depleted the roster. Somehow they won another game. The last game they won that year was they beat South Carolina State. That was their last MEAC win to date. So they finished that season 5-6. A couple weeks after the season, they don't renew his contract, Milstead's contract, and they bring in Coach Hall. Coach Hall, of course, led Morgan State to the MEAC championship in 2014. If you don't remember 2014, that was the year it was like 4 or 5 teams finished tied for first place, and somehow Morgan State ended up with the all the tiebreakers favoring them to go to the FCS tournament. Strangest thing ever. And Coach Hall was the offensive coordinator at Howard before he took over at Delaware State as head coach. So you expected a lot more offense. You expected a lot more big play capability. You expected more wins, and you got neither of those because a lot of kids left because they were upset that Milstead had been removed. And again, this isn't anything on Coach Hall, but this speaks more to what Alicia Shields Gadsden was trying to do as athletic director. And I get it. As an athletic director, it is your job to, number one, build a strong athletic program. And if you feel like you need to get your kind of people in there to do so, okay. But the players revolted. I mean, not revolted, rebelled. Maybe revolted is still a word. But either way, the players, a lot of kids left. A few other kids stayed, but they just were not all in with this tenure, and it showed on the field. The only 2 wins Lee Hall has to his credit as a Delaware State head coach are Virginia University of Lynchburg, and I've talked about this program a lot. I mean, I call them the Washington Generals of HBCU football for a reason. That win shouldn't even count. No, again, and I say this again, nobody in the HBCU space should be playing Virginia University of Lynchburg. Nobody. I don't care who gets mad about it. I don't care who has an attitude about it. Nobody should be playing Virginia University of Lynchburg. Okay, so that's one win. And then, of course, they beat Sacred Heart earlier this year. Sacred Heart was a playoff team in 2022, mind you. So you're not playing against a weak team like VUL. You went up to Sacred Heart and you won. So people thought, okay, things may get better, but the bottom fell out again. They gave up 69 points to South Carolina State. Central hung 52 on them in the regular season finale. And the sad part about that was because I watched that game on TV. Normally, I cover Delaware State University football in person. I've done that many times over the course of my career as a sports writer, but I didn't get to go to a game this year because the new sports information director never returned my request for a credential. So I didn't get to go to the games this year. So I had to watch on TV. But the sad part about watching that last game on TV was there were more people at the Delaware State women's volleyball MEAC championship game than there were at the football regular season finale. And this is not a knock, of course, on the Lady Hornets. We are definitely rooting for them. They've got Penn State in the volleyball tournament this week. Very much excited for them. I hope they go up there and pull off the big upset and make everybody proud. But when your volleyball team is outdrawing your football team, you have a problem, a serious problem. Because as we discuss among ourselves as sports writers that basketball and football are the front porch to your university. And right now, one half of Delaware State University's porch is incredibly dilapidated. That's the best way I can describe it. And they did announce, they're building a field house. They're doing upgrades to the stadium. They actually got a new scoreboard this year. And this is being overseen by Stephen R. Ewing, who donated $1 million to the athletics program. I will never forget the January meeting when they put all of this in motion. And he said a very poignant thing. He said, anybody can tell me my house is dirty, but are you going to get a mop and a broom and help me clean it up? And I respect what Mr. Ewing is saying, but at the same time, we just can't, there needs to be more. There needs to be more people with mops and buckets and different things of that nature to get this thing back right again. And honestly, it goes deeper than Lee Hull. It goes deeper than Alicia Shields Gaston, even though she had her hand in it. It's a lot. I mean, this is something that the university, this is something Dr. Tony Allen, the president, has to really sort of, take into his hands as well. He has to start finding ways for people to donate to this program. And the alumni, we have to be better. I'm including myself in that. Alumni, we have to be better. Administration has to be better. We need to go knocking on the state legislature's door because University of Delaware gets all the perks of being a public institution, but with a private sort of domain. Like no one asks how much UD gets from the state every year, but it's about 3 or 4 times as much. Because I can tell you, when I was a reporter at the Dover Post in 2011, our government reporter came back from the bond hearing one day. I said, okay, I need just out of curiosity, can you tell me what UD gets this year? He was able to tell me it's like $113 million. I was like, okay, how much is Delaware State getting? He said $32 million. So UD in 2011, obviously the inflation and different things of that nature is taken away into the stratosphere in 2024, but UD was getting more than 2/3 of what Delaware State was getting 13 years ago. That's more of that underfunding thing that we've discussed, with the Alabama HBCUs, with Tennessee State being robbed blind by to the tune of $1 billion. And now the Tennessee State legislators saying, oh, you guys are out of money. You won't give them the money. And Delaware State, to a lesser extent, is suffering that same fate. But at the same time, we have to make it palatable for the state legislators to say, okay, the alumni are involved. They got some good working partnerships with local businesses and national businesses. Let's kick them a little more change. We got to force their hand, basically. And so, yes, the Lee Hull experiment was a disaster. Yes, that falls on Alicia Shields Gaston's shoulders, but it's deeper than that. It's just so much that's going on with Delaware State University athletics that it really did take a house cleaning of sorts to get this thing back in order. And hopefully this will be the start of the turnaround, because Delaware State used to have a proud football team. The greatest coach in the history of the program, Bill Collick, he is now on the board of trustees. Hopefully they have more of his input. Coach Collick led that team to 5 MEAC championships, 85, 3 straight, 80, 87, 88, and 89, or was it 88, 89, or 90? Maybe it was 4 straight because I know they won it in 91. But either way, Bill Collick won 5 MEAC championships. And this is when, the MEAC was full of teams like Florida A&M and Howard and A&T and South Carolina State. Like Delaware State football in the late 80s and early 90s was something special. And they've been trying to bring that feeling back ever since. And it just hasn't happened. But now, hopefully, now that we are getting some much needed infrastructure upgrades, there are people that actually start to care now about the state of the athletic program, which is probably why Coach Hull got fired, and hopefully this is the start of the turnaround, but it's only going to start and continue and flourish if everybody, as Mr. Ewing says, picks up a mop and a bucket and a broom and helps clean this doggone thing up, because it is a mess. Make no mistake about it. There's no denying that the athletic department at Delaware State University is in a gross state of misrepair and disrepair and needs a lot of fixing up. But yeah, we can talk about it. We can say, oh yeah, this is dirty, this is filthy, this is grimy, this is trifling. But more people need to get the brooms, the Swiffer power mops, whatever it takes. There's so much that can be done by different alumni groups and different administrators and things to get this athletic program back to where it needs to be. Because like it or not, Delaware State is moving up. I mean, not Delaware State, University of Delaware is moving up to the FBS level. They'll be in Conference USA next year. And when you talk about local kids, and people are going to say, you don't have that many athletes in Delaware. Oh, we do. But the problem is, and this is me getting on the local people in Delaware, a lot of them say, oh, I don't want my kids going to Delaware State University. It's an HBCU. There's too many, they need to be away from their own people. Really? That's how you feel? That's how you feel in 2024, going on 2025. Okay. And then, and yes, I can admit that the facilities are bad. Alumni Stadium was built in 1957. It's maybe had 3 or 4 serious upgrades in the 60 plus years it's been open. Our gym, Memorial Hall, is a barn, a converted barn that was opened in 1982. They just cleaned out a barn and threw in some bleachers and a basketball court and some baskets and a scoreboard, and updated the scoreboard and the baskets and the floor as needed. You're not going to get many kids that way. Like it or not, these parents and their kids, and they want to see tangible things. They want to see LED scoreboards. They want to see the fact that they can possibly play before 5,000 or 6,000 people on a good night. They want to be able to go to the football games and see a bowl of a stadium that seats 15 to 20,000. This is what parents and kids want to see. And it's hard for us to compete like that. But at the same time, we can't just keep letting it pass us by. There are Division II programs with better facilities than us. I mean, Virginia State has a beautiful gymnasium. Virginia State has a world-class convocation center. Why are we still playing basketball games in converted barn? These are things that we need to fix. These are things that we need to work on. These are things that we need to make happen. These are things that have to be better. And it is going to take everybody pitching in for it to be better. Teamwork makes the dream work. So yes, this was a busy day for Delaware State University. They need a football coach. They have a new athletic director. And this is just the start. This hopefully is the start of the turnaround of Delaware State University athletics. We can only turn around if everybody grabs a hand on the wheel and steers it in the proper direction. That's what it's going to take.